Hello, my name is Cornelius Lindsay. Sometimes in life we get really complacent. I know I've been there. I've been there a lot. We get to those places, it's like you believe God's told you to do something. He's told you to go somewhere. He's told you to build. He's told you to ride. He's told you to do many things. And what happens is sometimes we start this journey of faith, and then we get to a point we get to a place where it doesn't look like where we're supposed to be or where we think we're supposed to be. Because we have these expectations, right? Don't we? We have expectations of what we think it should look like. We have expectations of what we think things should sound like. We have expectations of what we're supposed to be or who we're supposed to be when we finally get to that ultimate destination that we're searching for. But in particular, we in that journey of faith, we get to places where we just grow complacent. It's like, in the tests and trials of life, when they begin to beat down on us and we just get to the place where we feel like, you know what, maybe this place that I'm in right now, I'm comfortable being here. There have been times in my life where I believe that God had said or spoken things to me and told me to do certain things, and I would want to act out on those things, and then it just seems like I would get to a place and I would start that job, and the job did not seem like it was exactly what He told me to do. It didn't seem like it was something that He was telling me to go to. I'll give you an example. I believe I just dropped out of college, and I believe God had spoken something to me about preaching His word and all this kind of stuff, and specifically pastoring and stuff like that, which I was still trying my best to run away from. But I believe that God was telling me to do this stuff, and I found myself in the closet. I'm praying sometimes 8, 9, 10 hours a day and reading the word, and then I found myself going to get a job, and I started working as a server at a restaurant. And there I was, picking up plates and serving people, and nothing is wrong with that whatsoever. But I was at that place and I felt like, you know what? This doesn't look like where I thought I was going. I thought I was going somewhere else. And it got to a point where, probably 4 months into the job, 4 or 5 months, I just started to think, well, maybe I should just get comfortable here. Because I remember the stuff that people were saying. They were saying, this is the best you'll be able to do because you're a college dropout. This is the best you'll ever be able to have because of what you don't have. Or this is probably the best you'll be able to do because of what you don't know. And I would see classmates, and they would come and sit down at the table, and they would ridicule me because they would say, oh, you were voted most likely to succeed, and look at you, you're serving me. And and I would get talked about and all that kind of stuff, and it started to get at me. But I finally had to get to the place where I had to say, okay, God, I recognize this is where you have me. And the biggest thing that I learned in that is I need to know what I need to learn in this particular setting of my life now. And I tell people all the time, as a pastor now, I feel like I got a great amount of training when I was learning to serve tables. It was something that I had to learn, that I had to put my ego to the side. And even when I didn't feel like it, when I didn't feel like standing on my feet, when I didn't feel like going back to get somebody extra ice, when I didn't feel like going to refill the waters, when I felt like people weren't being as as nice to me as I was to them, I still had to do my job. And I was still having to do my job because I represented a greater organization. I represented a greater cause. It was so much bigger than me. And one thing I had to learn was that my attitude and my actions could now begin to affect the identity or the image that you have of the restaurant or the company. Did you know, you probably walk into restaurants and one server could turn you off from ever going to the restaurant again. And for me, I had to get to the place where I had to realize that my attitude, my character, my disposition, how I carried myself could ultimately appear badly and create a bad image for the restaurant. And I didn't want to have that. And in the same way, I had to learn that as a pastor, that my attitude, my image, the things that I do, my actions could really begin to speak wrongly towards the church and towards my Savior as a whole. So I encourage you to, wherever place you find yourself in, wherever God has told you to do, or wherever that you believe that He's told you to go, whatever place you're in right now, don't become complacent. Specifically, learn what you need to learn in this place you are right now. You may look and you may say, Cornelius, I don't feel like this is where I'm supposed to be. Well, you know what? It may not be where you're supposed to be, but you're there right now. So while you're there, learn what you need to learn. Instead of complaining and murmuring and crying all the time about what you don't have and where you're supposed to be, learn the lessons. Learn about patience. Learn long suffering. Learn about things that you need to know so that when you finally go from that place of faith to faith, when you finally go to that next place of faith and you finally pass that test and get to that next place, you can say, you know what? I learned the elementary and essential things I needed to learn years ago when I did this. And now when I'm at this place, there are things I need to learn in order to take me to the next place. So I encourage you, do not become complacent. It's one of the worst things that you can do. Do not become complacent. Learn, stay focused, stay diligent, and always keep the faith. God bless you, and I hope that you enjoyed this, and please make sure that you subscribe to my video and subscribe to the channel. God bless you.